Today we're over here picking some blueberries. We're getting a lot of them, huh?
Yep. Look at all I have in my bucket.
Ever since we started homesteading and wanting to live a more self-sustainable life, I feel like the one really hard thing is seeing everything that you can do and things that people are doing that are living like this, and you want to do it all. Just wrapping up our first year homesteading, it's very unrealistic to believe that we could do everything. That's the one reason I wanted to make this video, was to tell you guys there's ways to have that life without having to do it all right away. Alright, we just got back from picking a whole bunch of blueberries. We went to a huge blueberry patch where we were able to pick as many blueberries as we want. Literally buckets full. While we were there, it made me think about how we are in the process of growing our own blueberry bushes, but they're gonna take about another 2 years before we actually get any kind of fruit for them. And this is where when people start to think of, I don't have enough room to grow blueberry bushes, or I have to wait so long before I can actually get blueberry bushes, so why don't I just go to the store and buy them, and why don't I just do that for the rest of my life? And the reason I'm saying this is that if you are the one who are like us and you wanna make sure that your food is more locally grown or healthier, better for you, there's ways around doing it if you cannot do that possibly for yourself. Like obviously we would love to do everything ourselves. We'd love to be able to create all of our own meat, all of our own veggies, all of our own fruit. As we try to get closer to that goal, we have to be able to balance and find different ways to do different things. Two of those things we're doing today, which I have reason I want to make this video, but just make sure that you realize that there's ways to get fresh food. That doesn't mean that you have to do it yourself all the time. We like to try to outsource these things to local places when it's something that we can't produce here or are not producing here at this second on our small farm. Hey you, move. Yeah. So we got an unexpected order today. The farm that we order our meat from, or have been ordering our meat from, they're not necessarily a local farm. They're out of Indiana. When we were looking online for ordering meat, they just had a really good deal one time. We wanted to get into being able to have fresh grass-fed beef. Right now for us, we just cannot afford to have a cow on our land. We may have room for like goats, and we could definitely fit pigs in our woods. But until we got a lot of those woods cleared out and had more land for the cows possibly, it's just not possible. The last time we did an order, we didn't cancel it for the subscription, so we got another order of grass-fed beef coming in here. And although that we didn't mean to place this order, there was one thing that you would want to accidentally buy. I guess it would be food for your family, especially some grass-fed beef from a great farm, so we're not mad about it. We do about 1/8 of a cow when we do our orders, and you can see here, these are 3 different variations of steak, some good hot dogs for the kids, some more cuts of steak. These are summer sausages, great with cheese. We get lots and lots of hamburger patties, ground beef, more ground beef, but this type rolled up, a great chunk of beef. And this is like for roast, which is something that's great to have, so 1 big chunk of beef. And although this was all a beef order, they always like to throw in 2 free things of bacon. And I think everyone can agree, isn't bacon the best? So free bacon, how can you hate it? One bad thing about getting an order like that unexpectedly is it's so much things to go into a freezer that you gotta make sure you have enough freezer space to do it. Luckily, I think we jammed in our freezer just enough to fit it all. The only problem now is that somebody over here not only accidentally put in a meat order for this today, but also just put an order in for 10 chickens that we gotta go pick up, and we're not gonna fit 10 full chickens in our freezer right now.
And then in 4 more weeks we have 10 more chickens.
4 more weeks, 10 more?
5 more weeks.
We have 20 chickens?
Well,
our 10 chickens. 20 chickens that we gotta find freezer room for, and that means another freezer.
I'm not mad about that.
It's one of the things that I'm starting to learn, that when you were deciding to start living more like this and having more preparedness and just more meat on hand at this, it's gonna be a lot of freezers. Not just, you can't just deal with your one little freezer that you have above the fridge. So we already bought 1 big stand-up freezer. Now we're probably gonna get a chest freezer. Who knows, maybe every room in our house will have a freezer eventually.
Not every room, we just need at least 1 extra.
At least 1 for now. All we needed was that 1 extra before. And now it's gonna be, oh, just 1 more, and then it'll be another one. I know how it goes.
We used to live very minimally, believe it or not, before we lived out here. And then ever since moving out here, we realized how many different projects we have going on. And so that has gone out the window of living minimally.
So unfortunately, like I said, we don't have room to like raise a cow on our land or anything like that. But that's what you have to try to balance. So we have room for a garden. So we're growing plenty of veggies this year. Sorry if you can't hear me over all the chickens. A lot of the fruit bushes take about 2 years to yield you some fruit back for you. So that's why we went to go pick some blueberries today, and anytime that we can do any of that kind of stuff, especially local, support farmers, those blueberries are delicious. We have the room to have chickens. So one of the things we've been able to do is have our own eggs here. And this has been awesome because one of the first things that we did when we moved out here, and one of the first local things that we were buying for, people who had signs outside their property saying farm fresh eggs, $3, $3. And I was thinking to myself, again, another great deal, especially with eggs now. I mean, it costs almost $3 for a normal dozen at the store. It's one of those first things though that it was nice that like we've been outsourcing, and now we can finally kind of supply that ourselves. Every time I'm grabbing these eggs, even today as I was thinking about it, it just gives me that very thankful feeling, and we hope to have even more chickens here so that we can kind of outsource them to other people and they can kind of have those feelings as well. What's nice and also not nice is that as you buy those eggs from people and those are the eggs that you want, it starts to give you that feeling of that you want to be able to produce that yourself. And I feel like the more people out there that are able to do this themselves, the better that the world and the earth would be. So hopefully more people start doing it. So if I look wet, it's because I am. We just had a water balloon fight. It's a hot day, so it was nice, something fun for the girls to do. And although it's been hot, the wind is strong, so it's kind of chilly. But I wanted to show you guys all these blueberries that we picked today. So we got this huge bag full of them, and these are absolutely fresh and delicious. You know, like when you get one from the store and sometimes they turn out really good, but sometimes they turn out like they've been sitting there for a long time? Because we just picked these today, absolutely delicious. So sweet. The girls' garden, if you guys didn't watch, we made a video about starting a garden for your kids. So Melina and Delilah, our 3- and 5-year-old, have been managing a lot of this garden here. All their plants, unfortunately and fortunately, are doing great. The unfortunate part is it being in a kid's swimming pool. The cherry tomatoes and cucumbers are taking over everything. Lots and lots of tomatoes. Some strawberries trying to start. The cucumbers are the only thing. Although it looks good, you can see there's some yellow right here. And we've showed this before in a vlog, so we have yellow ones here. Yellow grass. And the one who caused the yellow grass. So I don't know if he's reaching his pea just enough up there where it's starting to kill this, which is a little unfortunate because it's been growing really, really good and really long here. The girls have been super excited to be able to kind of have their own garden. They like the idea of that. Although they help out with ours, this one is kind of more theirs and their responsibility. So they've been doing a really good job. Start a garden. There's some time here. There's things that you can plant near the end of your summer that you can harvest in the fall. So look into it, start a garden if you haven't already. So like I said here, one of the main things that we outsource is our meat, and we recently just got our first batch of Cornish cross chickens that we'll be raising for our own meat. But up to then, that was something that we were a little hesitant to process our own chickens, and still are. That's something that we'll have to overcome here in the next 6 weeks when we have to go do that. We did have room for a garden. We did have room for chickens to roam around and get eggs from. Honestly, some of it sometimes isn't the ability to have them. It's the fear of, are you gonna be able to handle doing that, and the responsibility of it. So the more and more that we take on as we're taking the next step and the next step here, what we're doing is those things that we've been outsourcing, and you figure out what's one of those things that you think that you can cut off that you can actually do. Raising our own chickens for meat, since we already have chickens here and we've been raising chickens, we realized that we can raise chickens. We just have to learn that processing part, and that's the next thing that we're gonna do here for us. But for you guys, think about it. Think about what makes sense for you guys. Don't think that you can't do it. Just think that it's not ready yet, and find somebody who is doing it. Don't think that you have to settle for everything that the grocery stores are selling you. Usually, especially right now, everything is overpriced and it's not good for you. So anytime that we can go help support somebody else and find a farm that's growing everything fresh, think about it. You don't get to see when you go to a grocery store how any of those animals in the meat were raised. And I'll tell you a little secret, if you go to look it up, you're not gonna like how it is. So main message for everyone today is don't think that you can't, just think that you cannot at this moment, and help support locally when you can.